In the world of driving, there are two kinds of drivers: the ordinary, everyman driver, and the Superman, God-level driver. The kind that puts their lives on the line, 1/4 mile at a time. Yeah, basically we're looking at Fast and Furious worthy videos today. Buckle up, Buttercup. From an incredibly skillful truck driver to a borderline suicidal bus route, let's meet 15 God-level drivers who do unreal things. Number 15. Volvo truck drivers. For whatever reason, the Fast and Furious movies have never thought to put Vin Diesel in a big old semi-truck. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. Pop him in one of those bad boys, let him do some donuts, billion-dollar movie. Someone, hire me! It might not be Fast and Furious worthy, but this clip of a Volvo truck driver pulling off some stunts behind the wheel of a semi is nothing short of incredible. With seemingly no effort required whatsoever, he manages to weave this big truck through alternating traffic cones, perfectly park it in a designated place, do a badass 180 and reverse it in for another perfect park. Some people can't even do that in a car. This is a semi-truck. Seriously though, this guy should be hired for the next Fast and Furious movie. Because this is next level driving. Most of us have never and likely will never drive a semi-truck. But if we did, chances of driving it like this are low to say the least. This is the work of a master, a Vin Diesel type. If the driver uses the word family 16 times a sentence, he might actually have a shot at being in the movie. Funny thing is, that's barely a joke. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Number 14. Peruvian bus route. For those that can't drive, the bus is often a gift from God, but especially so in Peru, where one mountain road is considered so dangerous that many people wouldn't even consider driving along it themselves. In steps one bus driver to save the day. This bus driver puts his own life at risk every single day to drive his passengers along a very treacherous road in the Andes. As he makes his way along this insanely dangerous path, you can see memorials on the side of the road where previous drivers plummeted to their deaths. So yeah, pulling this drive off every single day is nothing short of an achievement. Despite the obvious risks to his life, the driver seems almost entirely unconcerned about the situation, crediting God with looking over him and protecting him from certain death. Meanwhile, his passengers sleep peacefully, presumably trying to forget that they could die. Make no mistake, this is absolutely one of the most dangerous bus routes in the world, if not the most dangerous. For this guy to do it every single day and never have an accident, calling him a God-level driver feels pretty accurate. Number 13. Submerged bus. You can chalk this up to nightmare status. In the aftermath of Typhoon Nakri in the Philippines, the floodwaters reached up to 5 feet tall, making for one deadly situation just waiting to happen. But floodwaters didn't stop this driver, although they probably should. The video shows a bus driver faced with a difficult situation. With no other choice, the driver made the decision to drive through the floodwaters in the hopes of reaching their destination, as any bus driver would do, but it soon became apparent that the water was much higher than the driver had anticipated, rising up to the windscreen in seconds. Of course, that didn't stop the driver. The bus quickly turns into a makeshift boat as the driver continues to barrel towards the destination with seemingly no problems whatsoever. Even as the water funnels into the bus, the plan is to keep calm and carry on. You kind of have to admire that. Some people will question why the driver would even consider driving a bus through 5 feet high waters, but clearly there was no alternative, and I'm sure the driver, as well as the passengers, were just happy that it worked out. Somebody needs to invent the amphibious bus. There's $1 million idea. Okay, nobody steal that. Number 12. The two-wheeler. It takes some big cojones to prank somebody almost flipping a car, but this driver apparently has absolutely no worries or concerns about doing precisely that. And, to his credit, he more than has the impressive skills to pull it off. We should flag in advance that you should not try this at home and should always wear a seatbelt when traveling in a vehicle. That said, take a look at the impressive skills of this guy. Just before they take off, he reaches over, grabs hold of something, and then lifts the car onto two wheels. He then just drives, with the vehicle at a 45-degree angle the entire time. It's nothing short of incredible to see him have so much control over a car that is one strong wind away from being on its roof. Of course, the woman was not at all impressed with the stunt and eventually got her own revenge by pretending to pass out, freaking the guys out more than their own death-defying stunt. The prank itself may be a little hit or miss, depending on who you are, but we have to take a moment to appreciate the incredible driving of this guy. To drive a car on two wheels for a considerable amount of time is kinda badass, but seriously, wear a seatbelt. Don't be like these guys. Number 11. The Wooden Bridge. We've seen enough movies to know that if a big truck has to cross a rickety wooden bridge, it's probably not going to end well. Thankfully, drivers are generally pretty good at their real jobs in real life, so mishaps don't really tend to happen. But take a look at this and tell me your heart doesn't skyrocket. The video shows a collection of trucks crossing what looks to be a pretty questionable wooden bridge. While all of the trucks manage to reach the other side without any kind of accident or disaster, you can see just how careful and precise they have to be. One slight error or miscalculation and the whole truck will find itself in the water, which is obviously not a situation anybody wants to find themselves in, unless you love trashing trucks. I feel confident in saying that people wouldn't even want to drive across one of these wooden bridges in a car. Never mind a truck. These drivers are clearly masters of their vehicles. It takes a lot of precision and focus to reach the other side. Again, I've seen the movies. I know what it looks like when an idiot drives. Number 10. Two branch crossing. Do you think you could drive a car over two tree branches acting as a bridge? Most people would say yes, but believe me, it's a lot harder than it looks. Only the most skilled drivers can accomplish it without dunking the car into the water. Take a look at this driver, who not only manages to drive their car over the branch bridge, they cross it in reverse. I can't emphasize how insane this is. Crossing one of these bridges successfully requires absolute precision and focus. Even a slight incorrect move will cause the car to lose balance, and when that happens, you've just lost your car. Other drivers have also managed to successfully cross the branch bridge, making this one of the ultimate tests of your skills as a driver. To quote Jay-Z, "If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere." Many drivers think they'd be able to do this without much thought, but the truth is very different. Only the best drivers can drive a whole vehicle over two branches. Are you one of them? Feel free to let us know in the comments. Number 9. The Dragon Challenge. What do you get if you take a professional racing driver, put him in a Range Rover, and task him with climbing the legendary Taman Mountain Road? 99 turns, 999 steps, and a hell of a test. You'll never see anything like it. This driver decided to take on the deadly Dragon Road in the petrol-electric Range Rover, and it is stunning to witness. While most drivers on the road tend to take it pretty slow due to the dangerous design of the hairpin turns, this driver pretty much sped the entire way through, and after mastering the 99 turns, he took the car up the 999 steps of Heaven's Gate.
To drive up the 99 turns and the 999 steps.
The first to ever drive up those steps, a seemingly impossible challenge. Did he succeed? Do you think they would have released the video if he didn't? I rest my case. This driver really pushed the limits of what people thought could be done. The Dragon Challenge is a pretty crazy accomplishment. 99 turns and 999 steps in 22 minutes? I don't think us normies would even get that close. Actually, I'd probably check out after the third turn, if we're being totally honest. Number 8. Last-ditch effort. In some ways, the skills of golf also translate into driving. If your ball gets stuck in the ditch, what do? Either you fish it out with your bare hands, or you just keep hitting it until it's free. In the case of driving, it's very much the same. You get the crane, or you just put your foot on the gas until you're free. This driver decided to prove his skills in the ultimate test. After intentionally driving into a big muddy hole, he decided to get it out the old-fashioned way, driving it right up the side to freedom. Sure enough, the driver knew just how to work it, slowly pulling it up the side of the bank until eventually it was back on dry land, as if nothing ever happened, right? Now that's the sign of a good driver. I have no idea if this is a sport in Russia, but if it is, this guy must be one of the champions. It takes some impressive skill to get one of these four-wheel drive vehicles out of such a muddy hole. That's talent. Number 7. A narrow turn. Let's not try to figure out how it happened. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the nightmarish situation that this truck driver has gotten himself into. Parked horizontally along a narrow road, on the edge of what looks to be a hell of a big drop, how do you get yourself out of it? Here's a masterclass. The driver clearly doesn't have room for error, with only a few inches of moving either way. But this driver is a pro, taking baby steps to reverse and turn the truck's wheels, and eventually managing to get his vehicle fully turned around without falling off the edge. Somehow, that's no easy feat, and the driver deserves a lot of credit for pulling this one off in such a short period of time. In the hands of a less qualified driver, that truck would be a bonfire at the bottom of the cliff. Even the non-drivers among us will point out how impressive this is. To turn a full truck around on such a narrow stretch of road without killing anybody is not just an achievement, it's a miracle. Kudos to that driver. Number 6. Tree rally race. It takes a certain kind of madness to be a rally driver. You have to be comfortable driving off-road at unbelievably high speeds, constantly aware of potential threats, as well as the voice in your ear. Even for adrenaline junkies, this is pretty extreme. This clip shows England's greatest rally driver, Chris Ingram, navigating what has to be one of the most dangerous tracks in the sport. The driver speeds flat out along the track with little to no room for errors, expertly navigating the sharp turns and avoiding the unbelievable amounts of trees just waiting to put an end to his career. To call this lunacy would be an understatement. This is pure balls-to-the-wall insanity, and it requires an excellent driver to pull it off.
100 braking, tight brake.
It's no surprise that rallying tends to result in a whole lot of injuries for those that aren't quite up to the standard they should be. Despite the obvious insanity, rally drivers are fiercely passionate about what they do, and as you can see from this onboard footage, they not only need to be expert drivers, they need to be pretty insane too. Number 5. Forest Fire Drive. There are some circumstances in which driving fast is not only accepted, but encouraged. Driving on the highway, pursuing a career in Formula 1 racing, trying to outdo your ex-wife's new man because he bragged about how his brand new electric hybrid is superior to your old gas guzzler, but speeding through a forest fire? I don't think so. For reasons we can't explain, this driver decided to drive at a frankly insane speed through a raging forest fire. While it could be argued that he was just trying to get through the ordeal as quickly as he could, it makes absolutely no sense to drive this fast. For one, if he made even the slightest error, the car could easily crash and burn up, effectively killing him and destroying the evidence at the same time. It's a disaster waiting to happen, but you know what? It looks pretty damn cool. It's the kind of image you'd see in a David Lynch movie, where the protagonist is on the road to hell, or Florida, somewhere hot. Ultimately, driving at this speed, in these conditions, is an insane thing to do. But again, it does look good. I'm not happy about it, but I'll let it go this once. Number 4. A tire challenge. There's one place on Earth that is home to more insane drivers than anywhere else, and that is Saudi Arabia. For whatever reason, these guys are just utterly fearless about doing crazy things with cars. But this is a whole other level of insane. I don't think I have to say it, but do not try this at home. The whole thing seems relatively normal until the car flips up onto two wheels. From there we hit the truly crazy driving stuff. First, one person climbs out onto the side of their car, followed by another. Soon we have 6 people sitting on the raised part of the car, but you haven't seen anything yet? Believe me! Suddenly, they grab their tools and remove the wheels before replacing them. Insane! By the end, they're fully standing on top of this two-wheeler. This is easily one of the most insane things we've ever seen. It goes without saying that this is incredibly dangerous, and you should not even consider replicating it, but we should take a moment to admire the quality of driving skills on display here, and also the tire change skills. Just please, for the love of anybody listening, stay inside the car. Number 3. Sand Dune Driver. If you ever want to drive on sand dunes, there are some rules that you must follow if you want to protect your car and avoid becoming a tumbleweed. Number 1, don't do it. That's the end of my list. But if you absolutely have to do it, here's a video to illustrate some lessons. Take a look at the sheer size of this sand dune, and you'll probably feel the same anxiety-fueled bout of nausea that we did. But you know what? This driver does a phenomenal job getting almost to the top of the dune without any problems. Unfortunately, right at the end, he commits the cardinal sin of sand dune driving. He turns. When driving on a sand dune, you should only go directly forward or back. Once you turn, you start flipping. Luckily for this guy, he controlled his vehicle enough that he was able to just flip his car back over and head back down. Look at those skills! I cannot stress enough how dangerous sand dunes can be for people who may not be the strongest drivers. If you can't handle a sand dune, you're better off just driving along the beach or something. Even better, do it virtually. Leave the giant sand dunes for the professional crazies. Number 2. Bus Tour. Anybody that has had the pleasure of visiting Italy's Amalfi Coast will tell you just how stunningly beautiful it is, but the local bus drivers will tell you the roads here are not exactly the safest, and that may be an understatement. The video shows the incredible driving skills of the Italian bus drivers and the potentially dangerous roads that can be found all over the Amalfi Coast. Since these high-altitude roads are unmarked, traffic can come from both directions, requiring a huge amount of focus and awareness. And since all of the roads are incredibly narrow and dangerous, the bus drivers often find themselves backing up to allow other drivers to pass. Basically, the whole thing is very dangerous, and only the most skilled bus drivers could pull it off every day without losing lives. If you ever get the chance to explore these roads on a bus, be sure to show gratitude to the drivers. These are far from the most comfortable roads to navigate and require a huge amount of driving skill to pull off safely and successfully. What I'm saying is, tip big. Your life kinda maybe depends on it. Number 1. A Thief's Escape. We're not in the business of celebrating or endorsing the activities of criminals on this channel, but credit where credit is due. This particular criminal may be a horrible human being, but he is an incredibly impressive driver. First, we have to point out a crucial fact. The driver of this car is not the car owner. After stealing the car, he decided to escape the cops the only way he knew how. A Smokey and Bandit style car chase. And you know what? This driver is impressive. Watch how quickly the driver can weave between cars and turn at a second's notice without even dinging the car. Now that's quality driving. Eventually, the thief gets a little sloppy, crashing the car multiple times, stealing other vehicles, and eventually getting arrested. But for a brief moment there, you have to admire the guy's impressive driving. Again, this is in no way an endorsement of the thief or what he did, but I think it's fair to say that his driving is impressive. Of course, justice was eventually served when he got arrested, because in real life, just as in Grand Theft Auto, you get busted. Which of these drivers were the most legendary and/or insane? Let us know in the comments. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.